In the waning years of the Clone Wars, the Jedi Order stood at the height of its power and at the edge of its downfall. Amid the chaos of a galaxy at war, the Council made a choice that shattered the trust of one of their brightest Padawans and sent ripples through history. This is the story of how the Jedi Council exiled Ahsoka Tano and why that decision may have been their greatest mistake. It began with an act of terror, a bombing inside the Jedi Temple hangar bay. The attack claimed lives and shook public faith in the Jedi Order. But worse, it exposed just how far the Council was willing to go to preserve the Republic's trust, even at the cost of their own principles. When evidence, circumstantial at best, pointed toward Ahsoka Tano, the Council turned on her, a Padawan who had fought on the front lines, saved entire worlds, and embodied the very ideals of the Jedi. Now she's suddenly cast as a criminal. According to supervising director Dave Filoni, the story arc was always about challenging Ahsoka's faith in the Jedi and forcing the audience to question the Order's moral compass. Filoni wanted fans to feel the betrayal and to understand that even heroes can lose their way when fear and politics cloud judgment. This was not just a dramatic twist, it was a deliberate commentary on how institutions can fail the very people they're meant to protect. Rather than protect their Padawan and seek the truth, the Council expelled her from the Order, surrendering her to the Republic courts. They claimed it was to preserve impartiality, but in truth, it was an act of self-preservation. The Jedi were more afraid of political backlash than they were concerned with justice. And this wasn't the first time the Jedi betrayed one of their own. In Legends, the Council's decision to wipe Revan's mind rather than face the truth of their failures during the Mandalorian Wars followed the same pattern: protect the institution even at the expense of trust. Time and again, fear of losing control pushed the Jedi into morally questionable choices that eroded their own foundation. Ahsoka stood before a Republic military tribunal alone. No lightsaber, no friends in the jury. Only Anakin Skywalker stood by her side, desperately trying to prove her innocence. And when the true culprit, Barriss Offee, was revealed, the Council's response was almost insulting. They invited her back, framing the ordeal as a trial of the Force, as if their betrayal had somehow been a gift. But Ahsoka saw through the hollow words. She chose to walk away because the trust between her and the Council was beyond repair. Now, Filoni has said that Ahsoka's choice was the moment she truly grew beyond the Jedi Order. It wasn't about rejecting the Force, it was about rejecting a flawed system. Her exile set her on a path to becoming something different, something better. But her absence would have lasting consequences. Without Ahsoka by his side, Anakin grew more isolated, more vulnerable to Palpatine's manipulations. Some fans even argue that had she been there, she might have been the anchor that kept him from falling to the dark side. I disagree, but we'll never know for certain, and that possibility haunts this story. From the days of the Old Republic to the final years before the Empire, the Jedi Order repeatedly chose politics over principle. Each betrayal chipped away at the trust between the Order and its own members, until there was nothing left to hold them together. Ahsoka Tano's exile is more than just a turning point in the Clone Wars. It's a warning that even the most noble institutions can lose their way when they put survival over justice. And when they do, they risk losing the very people who make them worth saving. Do you believe the Jedi Council's treatment of Ahsoka was their ultimate failure, or just one more step toward the Order's inevitable fall? Share your thoughts in the comments, and as always, subscribe and follow for more Star Wars content.